Well, hello, hello. It is Happy Wednesday again, or Wealthy Wednesday, or whatever you want to make it, but it's Wednesday and we're here. And I am so delighted to be with you. If people see some strange objects going behind me, around me, I am downtown Toronto at a major conference happening, and the show must go on. So no matter where I am or whatever, I'm here, and we're going to be keep on going because that's what it's all about. No matter what, you figure out a way to do things, and that's what we'll be today. That's part of it. Nicole, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Glenda, and I'm super excited for you because you are getting to hang out with David Meltzer a little bit while
I
he's
know.
there. And we both know how much we love that guy. He's absolutely amazing. He's been on our show. He's a wealth of knowledge. So I'm just kind of living through you today, and
Oh,
hopefully you'll share some stories with me so I can live vicariously through you.
oh my gosh, absolutely. It has been such an honor. He has been such a delight to me. He's given me so many opportunities here, and tonight we have a very large VIP dinner with some incredible influencers that will be at the dinner tonight. So lots of great things happening. And somebody said to me, "How do you make things happen?" It's like it's persistence.
Yeah.
So, and that's a numbers game. And we're going to talk about that part of it too. So we don't want to, get in front of ourselves too much, because today we have really a really awesome guest, and somebody who I am so delighted and honored to be bringing upon everybody. And I met this woman in from my mentor, because we both have the same mentor. And it's having those same minds come together, because it's when we come together with the same type of outlook on life, we can really add a lot of knowledge and help to each other and to ourselves at the same time, right? So today we're going to delve into the world of entrepreneurship, success, and personal development. We have an extraordinary guest joining us. She's a high performance business coach who has been transforming the lives of women entrepreneurs, helping them receive remarkable success in their businesses. Together, we're going to be exploring strategy, mindset shifts, and practical tips that have propelled countless women to unpredictable and incredible levels of success. So let's dive right into, and let's talk to our our wow, I'm really having problems getting these words out today. But you know what? Like we say, we will just keep on going no matter what. We're real. So today, let me introduce Johanna Silva, who is here and so delighted. Welcome, Johanna. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, how are you? Thank you so much, Glenda and Nicole. What an amazing honor to be here. And thank you for the introduction. Wow, like you just said it really nicely. So thank you so much. I am definitely delighted to be here to share knowledge, wisdom, and really get into, the secrets, like what did it take? So thank you for allowing me to be here.
I'm thrilled. And you know what? As we've talked, because you and I met in London, England,
London, yes,
a few months ago already at
right.
this point. And, what we realize is, we all have journeys that we go on, and we all have, mountains that we've climbed, and we've all
Yeah,
had hit
yeah,
those valleys too. And that's just part of life. But
right.
it's how you make it through when you fall. It's
Yeah,
getting up, and it's
yeah,
that persistence and all sorts of things. And today let's talk about that, because nobody's life is perfect, and nothing goes without some forms
right.
of trials and
Yeah,
so forth. So let's
right.
delve in, and let's
Yeah,
maybe talk about before you got into becoming a high profile
yeah.
performance
Thank
coach,
you.
of what brought you to that.
Oh my goodness. Yes, definitely. I mean, I'm going back, you know, coming from first generation in the family and how to navigate myself through college. I've been working since I was 16, how to make my own way and learn many things, from failures and ups and downs because, I was self-taught, early on in my career and early into my young life. And I made many mistakes, right? So many mistakes through that journey. And went to college, did the corporate world, and I realized this wasn't for me. I hit a peak where I thought, it's 100K in LA, what can you do? And you're working 40, 50 hours and the boss, you hate your boss and everything else is just chaos. And so I was learning that, well, this is not it. There's more to this, right? And I felt like I needed to discover where my little soul was saying, you can do more than this. Like you can have a life where you can dream of. I always wanted to have life in my terms, but I wanted to learn how are people taking long 2-hour lunches at the beach and still have a family and still be happy and contribute to society. So I was like wanting to learn that, and I wasn't sure how they were doing that. And I was like, I'm just going to see how I can start my own business, the online business. I was working for a big firm back then, and we were doing lead gen in space. But I thought, well, that's great. Well, maybe I can, develop my own business, learn it the hard way, and learn how to navigate a business plan. Yeah, right. I quit my job, right? I literally didn't think that fall quitting your job was the biggest mistake. Well, I've learned a lot from that, but it was also lessons learning from that, because I wasn't prepared. I just thought, I can wing this. I can figure this out, And next thing you know, I fell on my face. Fell on my face, and it was one of those rock bottom situations back then where you're like, well, I was self-sufficient and I was 16. Now I have no one wants to hire me back because I quit, and now I don't have other jobs won't take me because I have a degree and I have this, and they're like, oh no, she's going to quit anyway. So it's not yourself. No one wanted to hire me back then. I'm like, what's going on? I was cleaning, I was doing this, I was doing that. How is this going working out? So I know what it's like when you're experiencing life and you're trying to figure this out. And I had to start from ground zero, and it wasn't. I started to just work side jobs and work my way. I'm like, what I'm going to do? I'm going to do sales. I'm going to do B2B. I'm going to go out there and figure this out. And so I started doing sales, business to businesses. So I was selling, the merchant services. I was doing more of the consulting sales side, and it was 100% commission. So I discovered that the sales aspects, I was doing sales since I was 16. I thought, well, if I'm doing a couple sales a week and I did really good at it, because I was determined. I had to get myself out. I had to feed myself. I had to put gas in the car. So I had to learn a lot of things. And the B2B side, I was learning that navigation, and I did really well on that. But I had a lot of adversity coming to that, and friends were like, well, she's a college grad. Look at her. She's working on these side jobs. I'm like, okay, whatever. I just had to deal with it. And so I realized that, I had to keep going. I had to figure it out. I had to find a way. Even though this business didn't work out, then I had to figure out other resources. I had to figure out, side things, but I had to keep going. But before that happened, I felt that was it for me. I felt I had no life. I felt hopeless. I felt humiliated. I felt I went through a deep depression through that time frame, because I felt like I lost all my credibility in life. Where here I'm left career, my job, and it's like starting over. So it was really transitional for me. I didn't understand how to cope with those feelings. Go ahead.
I'm going to stop you right there, because here's a big thing. People sometimes look at you, and especially this is huge with social media, right? Everybody looks at you and you look like you've got it all made. Now you're saying you crashed, you felt like a failure, things didn't go away, you lost a lot of confidence. When you hit rock bottom, what made you, or what were the thoughts that helped you to start moving forward, to get up?
I was at a place where I felt I'm not, everyone looked at me, oh, she's the first college grad. She's the first getting her career. And I had failed my family and friends. I felt that hopeless, where, oh, no one wants me now. And who wants to be with me? I don't have a career now. And that mindset, what changed was I started listening to Bob Proctor came up, and he says, you can change your or environment, your surrounding. And I was in an environment wasn't really supportive either. So I realized, that has a factor also. So I started to block everything around me. And I learned from Bob Proctor and his teachings of the mind controlling your frequency, controlling your environment, and how you can get your life back by thinking that you can, like repeating affirmations, repeating that in yourself. Well, these things I never was taught at home. Self-development wasn't taught. A job, that's not taught. In life, it's not taught. So I was learning this self-development later, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I mean, some people don't talk about this. In my household, was never talked about it. Wealth was not talked about. Self-development was not talked about. How to train your mind was not talked about. So that little, like, my inner voice was saying, start listening to this. And I started researching, I started subscribing, I started listening to other mindset, coaches. And I started listening to Tony Robbins. I was listening to Bob Proctor. I was listening to Les Brown. If you can get up, it's like this quote, if you can get up, you can go forward.
Well, I hear you, because you're telling me about all the people that I have
So Les Brown was also very influential in through my transition frequency going up. And then I started learning mechanics and quantum physics. And I started learning really how you can navigate the way you think, and whatever circumstances you're in, make it a good one. Whatever situation, environment you're in, make it the right environment. Even though if you're in a bad, setting, like, in your mindset, make the best of it. So I had to learn these things, and that's what really helped me to start navigating. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and do the B2B sales. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Just forget about the past. Just focus on these elements.
Wouldn't it be nice if people would teach that from the beginning instead of the conditioning that we get? If they would teach how
I was so conditioned.
Yeah, and how powerful is our mind? Our mind is our greatest tool, our greatest asset. Whatever we envision in there comes to fruition, whether it's good, whether it's bad, but no one teaches that. No one teaches us the power.
They don't teach that. And I realized that the masses and the structure and systems that we're in don't want you to know that. And I learned through rock bottom to help me see the light again. And I had to see this, that it's okay. This is just going to pass. Like Les Brown, started listening to every day. I was listening to Les Brown. So I was training my mind to okay, this is all going to pass. I was listening to them. That saved me. All of this positive audio. I don't even have TV in my house. I don't have TV. I listen to positive things. I listen to, coaches. I listen to who's doing good for this world, who's training your mind into that mindset thinking. And I learned also through that process that spirituality ties in also with your success and your abundance in your life. Like, all that comes together. The way you handle yourself, the way your choices, your intentions in life, and so I've learned so many things through that journey, and staying in the alignment, because the world is not there to align you, as we know.
Absolutely. And for me, spirituality plays into spirituality is the keystone to success for me and for mindset. So to hear you say that, I love that.
Yeah. And go ahead.
No, I'm just going to say the other really important thing is you have to really look at who you're surrounding yourself with and what people are around you. We all have family members that we love, but not are they always the best for us to move forward in life. And sometimes, even though they love you, sometimes they're going to be giving you advice. They're giving advice from a different perspective. It could be in a perspective where they're worried or they're scared for you. And that's not, it doesn't serve you in that way. Like a mother will give her child, to be careful, to watch out, watch out before you cross the road and all of that type of analogy. But what it really does is it puts more fear into you. So, learning about putting yourself around people that will actually uplift you, that will, even as we come together on this type of a area, we're all of the same mindset, so we help each other grow. And that's one of the most important things that we have to always be cognizant of. of who is around us, what voices are going into our head.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and what needs to
Exactly.
go in one ear and out the other.
Right,
yeah,
right,
We
right.
listen graciously and then say
Right.
no thanks inside.
Exactly, exactly. And I definitely, and through that transition, like you were saying, like, yeah, it's around you. And I left years ago. I was in abusive, my ex, environment where that was toxic too. But I learned to block it, and because that could affect you. So being real, since we're being real in this show, so I had experience of that situation where, how do you still go through other people's, environment where it can hold you back or be, emotional toxic. And so I overcame that too by learning these skills. So yeah, it was good.
the other important part that when I to this last few days, since I have been around David Meltzer
Yeah.
for hours on end and watching him and his speaking and all the rest of it, is what he says is, even when you're going through the hard times, I can stop living in your past, but just take yourself by living in the moment and then pulling out from it, so you're not staying in there. Just sort of go in, seeing what it did for you, what can you learn from it, being grateful for it, and then move
Right.
on.
And move on.
And move on. Yeah, because that's the most important things is, too many people live in and tell that same story of how they fell, and they become the victim of that, and they live in victimhood. And,
right, exactly. Or they stay in that, and they say stuck, or because of the situation, I didn't do this, or I didn't continue. But you're in that hole continuing that. So I think by learning to think there is a way out, it's all mindset. I'm going back to the mindset, and who are you listening to? What are you reading? What are your habits? Another key thing is, what habits are you doing on a daily basis? What actions are you taking towards those habits? So for me, it was like the habits. I changed my habits too. There are some friends I had to cut off. There's some family members I had to cut off. There's some people I said no to, some events I said no to because it's not lining with my habits. And I learned a lot from that too. I made mistakes. I had a group of girls that weren't really good positive influences. They were just, they wanted to go out every weekend. When I was younger, like they just wanted, like, what? That's not just wrong environment, But I learned through that. It's like, it does matter who you're surrounding you with and the habits, because those habits can hold you back. Those habits that they acquire, you're going to become that too, where it's either lifting you to move forward in a healthy way or holding you back in that frequency, in that sense, without you knowing.
You're the sum of the 5 people you hang around with.
Right.
So be picky, because we deserve to be in the highest.
And to be honest with you, when I was, exactly, in the young, I've noticed the young girls, the teenagers, like they are just, be careful, because the peer pressure of this, and the next thing to do, it's like, well, if it's their habits of the weekends, that's not aligning you to your purpose for yourself.
No. And anytime you go out and you're in that crowd of lower vibrational frequency,
lower vibration, right?
If there's drinking, if you're drinking, is all you're doing is lowering yourself.
Right.
And then you don't want that. You don't feel good afterwards, and then you've got to kind of rebound and establish, some priorities,
right.
or
priorities.
You're not vibing with. You don't feel it anymore. Right. And it's kind of organic. They kind of leave, and then you can find someone that you're more aligned with, and it just works beautifully if you let it.
And that is so. I feel like a lot of the younger generation are not seeing that that's a factor. It's because it's how it's promoted with our music, with our environment. You can't scale. You can't be in a loving relationship. You can't be in a healthy relationship, or if you're not in a healthy environment yourself,
Oh, yeah.
It's like, how's that going to work? You're always out with you guys are in that, situation.
Well, we don't realize, we attract who we actually are. So, there's so many people they wonder why they keep on attracting the
Yeah.
same person over the
Right.
person they divorced, yet they're attracting people that are in the same level, but they don't realize
Right.
that they never
Yeah.
really made changes with themselves to
Right.
make those changes happen.
Exactly.
Right. So you moved on after you started moving yourself forward. How did you become a performance coach?
Okay, so into that story, left my many years the ex, and so I had to start over again. Here we go, right? Life happens, guys. Like sometimes life throws curveballs, but we just have to navigate through those. So I came to San Diego with like $400, $600 in my pocket. And
to San Diego of all places. That's not even, that's a mill.
I made a phone call. I said, hey, are you guys still looking for an HR recruiter in your department? Because I used to do the B2B sales. Like, as a matter of fact, we are looking to hire someone. Perfect. I need a job. Whatever, $18, $14 an hour, I take it. Need a job.
Yeah.
I made some phone calls. I'm on my way. Something's telling me I need to be here. I got to do this, and I'm starting over again. Well, life. And so I had the spirit, I had the courage, and I had direction. And so, well, we'll have to put a pat back on, keep going. Like you said, keep going. Just keep going. And I was doing the recruiting sales, and then I did the B2B sales for the company. And I started outperforming all the managers in their teams. I started outperforming the other companies. They were recruiting me another B2B sales, and I outperformed the VPs. I outperformed their department. And so, again, going back to the mindset of being focused, and my whole focus was just getting myself together, getting myself in alignment. I was just focused and being consistent into my goals. Like, you know what? I know what I need to do. I'll figure this out. And I'm just going to go where God's taking me. Because I said to myself, God's going to be with me, and that's all I need right now. And I just stay focused. And next thing you know, I just started outperforming, departments, and I am training them, coaching them. And I found that consulting was giving me, I realized okay, is that my superpower? Like, business is what I'm doing. And so I really started being the highest closer, the highest conversion rate through the year. And I thought, well, there's something here. I'm going to just, start my own agency. So after that, I'm like, yeah, with a couple hundreds in my pocket till now, I'm starting my own agency. Spend my weekends coffee shops, spend my weekends saying no to everyone, spend my year not seeing anyone for a year. And I just started going to the coffee shop, learning, getting the business plan, getting the the partnerships and all, getting the business together. I had to study, I had to learn, I had nights, weekends, just reading with designers, this, that, and really staying focused through that transition. And so I started my own agency and started training. I did the whole contracts. I trained sales teams, and I trained, nationally and locally as well. And so, and the B2B side, and just developed that. And I started the lead gen space for the online forums. So now digital space. So now the B2B digital sales, business development, acquisitions. Now it's what I'm doing. So been very successful in that.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. So we talk about, many a times in our lives that we have to recreate ourselves. How do we reinvent ourselves? And what we need to do is, sit back and look at what your skills are, what you're good at, what works for you. Because, sometimes, when you're in that downward spin, that's all you see. And then you focus on that.
Right.
So the key is not to be staying down, is to be having that ability to get up by focusing on.
You know what it is? You're right, Glenn. I think when you're in that transition, we're like, oh my gosh, I'm going over again. How do I do this? How am I going to? Don't think about this, because the the audios that you listen to when you wake up, Les Brown, Prop Proctor, have them as your friend to talk to. They're talking to you. So when you need that inspiration, it's going to be okay. That's who you need to start listening to. Don't listen to anyone. Don't listen to someone say, how are you going to pay that? How are you going to do this? How are you going to survive out there? Don't listen to those people. You need to start listening to people that are giving you the alignment of, yes, it's going to work out. You're going to do this. You're going to have that mindset, because when you have that spirit alignment, you're listening to them, you're just go. Things will start happening. Things will start opening, because you're in that, I'm going to get up, it's 7:00, have a schedule, I have to do this, have a to-do list. Like, you're listening to them because they're inspiring you to do it. So having that group, you like listening to you, Nicole and Glenda, listen to these ladies, listen to the other, motivational, that they see it, they see that for you. They're there for you. They're your cheerleaders. I look at have your cheerleaders when you're in that down phase. Surround yourself with cheerleaders every single day, because that's going to keep you pushing. That's going to keep you going, even though the odds are against you, but you got to keep pushing through those odds.
Yeah.
Eric Thompson is another one. He says, champions continue with there's no gas in the car. They keep going without gas.
That's so true. And it's what we don't really see is how we're, when we're going forward sometimes, what ends up happening is when you start thinking in those terms, you start questioning your own self.
You're questioning yourself, right?
Right. And so did you find you were going through that time with hesitations, questionings?
Oh, well, entrepreneurship? Oh, yeah, it's a daily thing.
That would be a big yes.
Oh man, get ready. Just it's gonna be okay. No one's gonna, as long as you're breathing, you should be fine. As long as you're, roof over your head, okay, well, that's fine. We can manage this. We can do this. Where am I sleeping? Where am I eating? Okay, we got the basics.
And holding on to that gratitude, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
It's the gratitude that changes
everything. It's the
everything.
gratitude and just being the present and just, okay, well, the way I look at it, okay, how do if there's like a challenge or there's a problem, and as an entrepreneur, there's always, every day there's something. I get text calls, this, that, it's like, okay, how do we resolve this? There's an urgent matter. Okay, how do we resolve, what's the solution for this problem? Like, what do we do to resolve this in a manner that looks, to when it's helping the customer, it's helping the situation. How do I solve this problem? Versus like panicking or, I look at it as, okay, what's the solution? How do we handle this?
Yeah. Just your creativity. How are you going to
as an entrepreneur, you're all like, all right, that's interesting. How do we handle that one? I mean, I remember getting my first lawsuit when I opened the other agency, and I kid you not, I cried. I called my family and friends. I said, someone censored me. It's like, I don't know what to do. What's this? But you know what? And then they're like, well, congratulations. That means you're doing good.
Yeah. That's a sure sign of success.
It's like, welcome to the world. But you know what? He didn't take anything. We fought it, and I handled it. I didn't know how I was going to. He was after me for all this money, and I'm like, is he crazy? Oh my God, how would I do this? Because we make that phone call. It was like the not call list, and he was after me for thousands of 30,000 because we called once, and he was taking advantage of the system. And so I said, no, he's not going to wait. But I was so scared. I'm like, well, all right, this is my first one. This is interesting. And so we pushed it through. I went through it, and we went to court and everything, and we fought it, and he didn't take a dime.
Wow. Congratulations.
It's a mindset. I was like, how are we? It was like, he was, that was his scam. Like he listed that he wanted information, but he listed the number that you should not call.
Oh my God.
He was sneaky.
So that was fraud too.
Yeah. Well, and that's why we were like, no, we were going head to head. And so it's going back to the entrepreneur, like, you just have to just be ready, have your ducks in a row, but that's part of the learning process. So I got my insurance, like, I got to get this.
So when you have a client who you are an entrepreneur client that you're trying to raise up, what are some of the tips or strategies that you could give somebody maybe who is looking to get into the 6-figure level or even to move forward?
Sure, absolutely. I think like in this space, like I'm this, the business development coach, sales side as well. If you don't have the sales right, you don't have a business, right? If you don't have clients, you don't have a business. If you don't have, that's what I see. That's what I learned in my career as well. Like the sales were the driven factor of any company. And I said, been in the training side. I feel like finding the actual, who are you, what is your belief system? Like what product are you servicing? Are you servicing a solution to your audience? Are you trying to sell a product? Now be realistic. Is that product, does the market need that product? And do the market need your services? So ask yourself those two things. And then secondly, are you confident understanding that product and services? Do you see yourself as that person as dominating that space? Whatever industry you're in, you have to put yourself as the expert and you're dominating the space that you're in and learn your product and services, teach in and out, just like I am. Like you have to be an expert in that. Not expert, you have to be very married to it to understand, you have to know this is what I do. I'm, and master that set. Whatever industry, the industry that you're in, make sure you know that industry, the competition, the ins and outs, what the high points, the high points, the weak points, and also the solutions that outperform any competitor. So understand that, but you have to understand, you have to have the self-confidence that you can deliver that to the masses. Have that confidence is really key. Having the confidence skills, because that transpires into your calls, that transpires into your BDB, that transpires into your presentation. And so when they see that confidence and that belief system, they're going to believe it too. And that's how you do high ticket sales or any service or products that you're in.
So you said of finding out if there's a market for the thing.
If you're in real estate or if you're in social media marketing, if you have an agency, clients, all acquisition, right? How are you gonna get clients? Well, you have to know who your competitor is, and then you have to know, okay, is your services really giving the market what their pain points? Are you really looking at, okay, they actually need help with this space, so who is your market? And I feel people are just floating. They're not like narrowing it down to, okay, who's my market, like actual plan? Who's the market? Who am I servicing, and how can I dominate?
So how do people find out about this?
Oh, yes. How do they find about how do they master the sales?
Well, it's part of the sales, but it's also the fact of how they, let's talk about it a little bit so we can give people a little bit of value
right
here of finding out how you go about even if you have a viable business. Let's talk about that for a moment.
So how do they find out? So I think that the best thing is, you have to be, invest in yourself, invest in knowledge. I feel like, how do they find out how to start this? Like invest in knowledge, invest in your mentorship, invest in yourself. So your brain's going to learn and adapt new skills. So you can see, okay, I'm learning these skills. Now I can package this and give a value to my audience or value to my customers. So investing in yourself, I think for me, I'm always looking ways to learn as well. And how do I learn that? Well, invest in yourself, find out who has the skill sets you want to learn from and who master that skill set and learn from that person.
Also, the one way that we can share with people that, the good old fashioned Google is gives us so much information. So if there's something that you're looking to do, there's a few really great ways of finding out if there's, first of all, you Google the subject matter and you see when you're Googling it at the beginning of the page, if it shows that there's ads, that means people are spending money on it. So that when you see the ads, there's money being spent. And if there's money being spent, then there's business being done. Finding out the people that are also doing it is huge, right? That way you can go onto social media and you can follow them to get more of that information.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the other huge bit of want to put some more value out to you, people that are watching this, that, another great way of seeing is go to Amazon and go into books. And from books, you can see who's written books, and from that you read even the most incredible things is the comments on those. And from those comments, you can see where people have done it. So if there's books being written and they're being sold, then obviously there's business being done that way as well. So
Absolutely.
that way, right? So we don't get into things because, you know, everyone's got great ideas, but not necessarily do those ideas transfer into a business.
Absolutely. And going back to how do you develop a business plan and how does that structure, how does that look like? And it's going back to investment, investing in yourself, and how do I get a mentor that has done businesses from ground zero, so seek out for mentors. And then not only that, the social media has good resources of like follow people that are in that space to their coaching in business, or follow them, see what they're talking about, or learn from them. Because I'm always, my followers are people that add value to knowledge. So start following people that are going to bring knowledge to your surrounding. And that's how you also can learn, and really invest in key coaches to help you elevate a lot quicker, and also focus on your main concerns and your dream.
It's really important that people realize that when some people don't want to have the mentor, they don't believe in paying out the things, but we have to look at it in a different way. It's not that you're paying out, you're investing in your own self. Yeah. And, what's the most important thing in our lives is us. Like, if you can't bet on yourself, then,
Exactly.
then you're shot before you begin.
Yeah.
So it's very important to learn how important that you have to feel about you.
Right. Right. And, the key thing is, like I said, I didn't come from, a silver spoon. I didn't come like, oh, here's $1 million, go invest. No, this took time. This wasn't done overnight. So invest in yourself. If you're not ready now, okay, but have that in your mind. Okay, you know what? I'm going to work towards, if it's, a little bit here, a little bit of there. Like, what does it take? This took years of work. This is years of, development. So it's if you don't get discouraged, I want it now, because it doesn't, it's going to take time, but keep little steps forward towards that. And things will start lining up and opening up. If it's, the side job, or maybe, open your creativity side of this could help for another mentor, or buy more books, and start going to conferences, get yourself out there, network, but always stay with the framework of, getting more knowledge towards your end goal. Find out where you're headed. What do you want to do? What makes you happy? And really is what is it that your superpowers, find out your superpowers, what they are, because that abundance comes from any level. Abundance comes in all levels.
And, one thing that people don't realize when you're doing this is you have to take action. You have to take
consistent, massive action. I put it massive consistency. It's not halfway through.
Yeah, exactly. But once you start taking that action, the universe sees it, and it'll start bringing you more. And then, one thing leads to the next. And it's just, and then it's like, wow, look at this. It's just coming at you so fast, you don't know what to do with it.
And I'm telling you, there's times where they're going to be, as an entrepreneur, there's times when you're starting out. Yeah, you're going to have all-nighters. You're going to have to say no to birthdays. You have to say no to these, other engagements, because you're sacrificing for the bigger picture. So I think people, it's like what I said. You want to have it all, but you don't want to do the work. You don't want to do the sacrifice to do that. Like you said, the universe does see those things.
Oh yeah, they're watching.
And we're also in a world of, like everybody wants to see something just happening, immediate action. Like we've gone
immediate action,
right? Like it's, we're from the world of, you wanted something, you wrote a letter, you put it in the mail, and then you'd wait for the mail to be delivered.
Right.
Nothing happened overnight.
No, it doesn't.
Right. And then we had the computers coming, and we're writing emails, and you expected people to respond to your emails, which took a little bit of time. But then when Texas became, the prevalent thing. It's like, I sent a text 5 minutes ago. Why aren't I receiving a response?
That immediate gratification.
Right. So we have to look at our lives more like a plant. When you plant the seed, the plant doesn't just pop up. It takes time. It takes water. It takes being in good soil, and it takes some sunshine before we see anything coming up from it. So we have to learn that if we do things like, if you go to the gym and you once a week you go and you spend 2 hours in the gym, and then you go out of the gym and you eat and you don't exercise all week, and you come back another week later, you're not going to see a change. You've never developed any consistency or anything like that. So it all comes really as we can focus on doing steps on a consistent basis and believing, that old-fashioned faith that something will come from it. Believing. Big word, right?
That's a big word. And that's what's through that journey. I'm literally like, none of this, like, I had that belief with, that belief that in that consistency. Yeah.
Yeah. And Wayne Dyer has a really good quote.
Dyer, yeah.
I love Wayne.
I like him too. I know. I like Wayne Dyer.
Yeah. He's like, it's not, I'll believe it when I see it. I'll see it when I believe it. And I've found no bigger truth on my journey. It's that mind connection again.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I think it's very true, is the mind connection. Even though it's not, you don't see it, the perfect world, right? If you're going through that situation where it's like, well, it doesn't look perfect. Well, no, you have to just block that. Just see it in your mind and just be grateful. Well, yeah, it's not,
Sometimes it's hard to see through, the
it's
old
hard.
story.
I know.
But that's why we talk about coaching, because the most important thing is when you fall down and you can't see it,
you can't
to
see
have
it.
somebody who's around you who believes in you, because sometimes we end up stop believing in ourselves, right? Because we haven't seen what we think is supposed to happen.
Right. And that's where me listening, the Les Brown, Brock Proctor, Ron Dreyer, Eric Thompson, like listening to these Tony Robbins, like just having them as my cheerleaders. I was just only listening to them, and they gave me that hope. So
life didn't happen to any of these people. They, it worked for them. If you follow the other way of getting really great mentorship is by saturating yourself like a Tony Robbins, or I'm a big Bob Proctor fan as well, because these people just kept believing in themselves of faith. Something is going to happen. And that can change your life 100%.
Yeah, because they were the cheerleaders. They were, hey, it's going to be okay. Like they gave you that sight hope, even though your current environment is not looking like it's positive, but they are positive for you. That's all you need to be listening to. Block everything out. Just walk out, go to the coffee shop, and like in the morning, just in the car when you're driving, just have the audio on. Block the news, block everything, just have them audio on, just listening them.
As long as you're listening to that positivity,
listening to that process.
I always tell people there's far more unseen going on than there is seen. Regardless if you're immensely successful, you've still got a team working for you, and you've got so many things happen in the background that you're never going to see and maybe not even understand. But it's going on if you've got that positive mindset.
Yeah, so true. So true.
But it's like in today's world where we see a lot of things are happening, we're hearing a lot of doom and gloom. How do you keep yourself positive besides the listening to just these people? What is your way of keeping your mind strong and healthy to keep moving forward?
Absolutely. I think when you, it's the gratitude when you wake up in the morning, and having the relationship with God. I feel like He is the one that is there for you and listening to you. And when you have that relationship, God in your life, it's okay. He's going to handle this. I believe he's going to handle this. It'll be all right. Having that, it's faith. It's giving you that courage. Okay, well, the world may go upside down here in a minute, but I believe he's going to take care of this.
Continue upside up.
I know, it's like it's upside down right now. But I feel like for me, it's been, having that belief system and always have something to look forward to that you're trying to accomplish. And also at service, are you providing service to your community? How are you, for me, how can I help, children in need, teenagers that are heartbroken, teenage girls that are lost and there's no hope for them. Their suicidal rate's really high. Yeah. So my purpose, there's a purpose for me too, to help these young ladies to see that, love yourself. You don't have to go out and love yourself first. Right. And so this tornado is just a storm. There's a light here, And so I feel like what's my purpose? How do I contribute to society? How can I help to family members, friends? How can I be at service? So I think taking yourself out of the equation of purpose, having the abundance around that, then how can I be a purpose to this world that doesn't want you to help?
Yeah, it's true. When we give out a little bit of, we get so much.
It gets me going, like continuing.
Right? Yeah. The amounts of what you get back from when you give out is actually, it's crazy that you even feel sometimes better than the person you're helping, just because you can see it doing it.
Yes, it makes my heart like, oh, is there, if it's writing the right resume for them, because now they land a job and now they're able to have a life because they didn't know how to write a resume, but you know what, I'm here to help you write one. And so it's one of those things, it's like be at service, you can change someone's life too.
Absolutely. And that is a good feeling.
Yeah.
Good feeling. And everything you put out comes back. It's universal law. It circles right back to you.
Right.
Maybe not in that particular way, but something that will help you also. I love that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think for me, that's to answer your question. That's it's the TV, the radio, it's there to build that in our mind. So I don't have TV very much here at the house. Just focus on the purpose, focus on what needs to be done at the task on every day. Just be grateful every day. I'm grateful every day. Second every day. I'm here. I'm alive. I'm breathing. I'm healthy, and just I'm here to serve and become your best version of yourself. Right. Because it's healthy to do something you want. You're contributing into this life. Yeah. Finances are important, building secure future, it's important too. So have all those things going in the alignment, have all those things too.
So Johanna, if somebody is looking for a coach, can you give an idea of what type of things that you do so they know if you're the right type of coach for them?
Oh, absolutely. So if you're starting a business, or you're in real estate, or you're in the sales career, entrepreneur ladies, or if you're looking to have more sales online, or how to lead flow, lead gen, or negotiation, persuasion, how to do introduction, presentation, anything that has to do with acquisition and business and sales, I am the person that can advise and help. If you need to increase your conversions or how to tackle high ticket sales, I can teach you that as well. So anything that can help you in terms of mindset beliefs, how do I shift my mind as a winner? I can assist you and coach you in that space as well. So how to be a elegant closer, how to present yourself as a professional in your space. So those are the services I can assist.
Lovely. Wow. Yeah, it's important that we learn that, right. Here's the other big factor is people is learning to reach out and get help, to ask for it. And part of it is a numbers game. So,
there's a formula to that.
Well, here's the thing. When the door is closed, people think if somebody says no, that means that the door is closed forever. Mm-hmm. But
they think that,
right? So what do you do when somebody says to you no?
Sure. Yeah. So when they say no to me, I still probe, because I don't give up on the first, I've done one stop closes, one stop, the same day, or I've done, okay, so how do we navigate this? You got 3 minutes. So you got 3 3 minutes to make a presentation. Either how you got that 3-minute slot for the person to say, you know what, yes, or no. So it's really how you present and approach that. When they say no to you, you're going to ask, open-ended questions for them to realize, actually, yeah, I am looking for someone, but depending on the dynamics of what it is, you ask open-ended questions. Why are they saying no? Relates to the services that you want to offer them.
Right. So when the
But
more
if they
you
say
get,
no, great,
yeah.
I understand. Is there anything? Is there another decision factor? Is this not the right time? Do you have a better time for me to present this to you, where you can see it only takes 2 seconds? It's for free. It's just a free consultation that it's not going to hurt you to learn how to increase your business. What time is best for you? Thursday or Tuesday? I know maybe this is not the right time right now.
Right. And remember, no could, I look at no as being no, not right now. So, don't let the door stay closed.
Don't let the door stay closed. I always probe, right? Always ask questions and keep going to, okay, great. I totally understand. It's not the right time. It's lunchtime. What's the best time? It's only 2 seconds. It's free information to grow your business, and it's absolutely free. It's not going to hurt you. I would love to, talk to you about this within three seconds. Tuesday or Thursday, 2 o'clock. Oh, 11 o'clock. Perfect.
Boom, boom. That's taking some serious action right there.
Yeah. So you have to be ready to answer those objections on that. And don't let that stop you, because you're going to have 10 no's, but that 11 and 12 one is going to be like the big deal. So it's a numbers game, and then you start learning your opening line, you'll get better at it. And when you become the expert, then you're okay, that takes me 5 people, I close 3, right? Or it will take me 12 people, I'll close 2. But you're learning to increase your conversion by your skill sets. And that's what I teach too. It's like your skill sets on that, conversion rates.
So what type of skill sets do you feel that people need during that time while they're doing that?
I feel like it's really, really having that confident conversation about the product you're servicing. It's really building that confidence in the beginning, and not have timid, just being that consistent, have a window. Okay, this is my time to prospect. This is my time for follow up. And this is my time for follow up for my deals. So you've got that cycle. There's always something in the pipeline. A lot of people stop the pipeline, they're dry. No, you have to have stuff going on if you're in sales. Because 1 or 2 might trickle, but you have that pipeline that's going to make up the other 2. So you're always closing.
It's a revolving door.
Right, but you have to be in that schedule consistency, and you always have to improve that conversation. I'm going to talk to 5 people today. It could be strangers. I don't know. I'm just going to do 5. So you have to just have something structured. Well, you know what? I'm just going to say hi. Message 5 people today. It's having that, your matrix, your matrix in place. When you're in that sales side, okay, so who do I need to talk to that's going to need my services? I'm going to talk to 20 people today. I'm going to say hi, because keep that momentum. Put a window out for 2-3 hours, just prospecting. So prospecting, but consistency within that slot. No one can interrupt you.
Well, I think that's really one of the biggest keys is in everything in all of our life is the consistency, no matter what.
It's the consistency, and you have that slot. Oh, I can't be interrupted. I'm making my introductions of my services, and no, block that zone out. Like I tell, my world's like, I can't be bothered from this time to this time is my zone, because you're in that frequency. So no one can be interrupting you. Shut everything down. It's like, this is my zone time for producing. When you're in that mindset and producing, stuff will start aligning, but you just have to be in that slot 2-3 hours of just prospecting clients.
So if you could give our audience today any bit of a tidbit of how to move forward, or even looking as somebody who might be even considering being an entrepreneur, what little golden nuggets could you give out?
Absolutely. As an entrepreneur world, make sure you draft out like an outline of what the plan looks like as an entrepreneur, what the business you're doing. Put some time into a business, like a basic business plan of what that looks like, what's your services, your market. So you have the basics first, right? Then you got to figure out as an entrepreneur, get your LLC, getting your S corp. You got to have that legal system in place. So you got to have the foundations in place. Okay. Then you got to feel like, how do I have partnerships? Am I an agency, or am I? So you got to ask, okay, what kind of structure am I having this business? And then you got to look at your marketing. Like, okay, so what's my budget for marketing? What's my budget for a website? Because business costs. Okay, website's going to cost. Posting's going to cost. I worked at coffee shops all the weekend because and I was renting a room in the couch. You're like, hey, that's entrepreneurship when I started. So you got to took some sacrifices. Okay, do I need to cut certain things to put this in these areas?
Great advice. Great advice.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's some, people don't realize that, like I say, everybody, a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people want to see that happening right away. And then when they don't, they quit. And then that's when you fail. We only fail when we quit.
Yeah. Right. And don't quit. Don't quit. I mean, if you got to cut down some things to take that next step in life, the quantum jump, if you're going to take that quantum jump, but you got to start because you haven't mastered that yet. So you're going to, you have to first master with that service, master your sales, do that, because you're going to go out there, get clients or have a team, but you need budgets to have, the acquisition in place. How are you going to train your team? How are you going to structure that? You really got to have that, the basics in the beginning, and investment in the website, investment for lead gen, investment for advertising, networking, all that takes time, right? And then you got to put a roof over your head. So I think it's doing those sacrifices where you say no to the world for a year, and you lay out your foundation, the legal structure, your foundation, your services, the website, and then you execute on, delivering that to the world.
Beautiful. Great information. So,
thank you.
As we're coming to the end of our time, I
want to hear about your quantum and, of course, and the empowerment, Glenda, and the specialists, all that.
Well, we'll get on another call and
Yeah,
because right now we're getting to the end, and we always be very respectful of everybody's time, and we will work towards, bringing more information. The whole idea of our show is to empower you, to, build you up and let you learn that everybody's life is like it's a marathon. It's not the end destination that counts. It's going through that marathon as it's happening. So Nicole, do you have any last moment little tidbit for us today?
I do. Right. You know what? I love the fact that you have merged business acumen, common sense, but you've also incorporated, which to me is the most important part, and that's the spirituality, that's the gratitude, and that's the mindset, because that truly, that's the core of everything. If you don't have that mastered, you might be making money, but you are not, in my opinion, successful. That's not how I measure success anymore, is by keeping your pocketbook. And so you've merged this beautifully in a way that, to have the right mindset, that you have to take action. It's not just envisioning it in your mind. Everything has to work together in this field. And once it does, it just comes together so beautifully and so easily. So thank you for putting all those things together for us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for adding that, and you as well. Thank you for reviewing that very nicely.
It's Johanna. It's such a pleasure. And thank you for joining us today. If somebody wants to get in touch with you, how do they get in touch with you?
Absolutely. You can go to johannasilvacoaching.com or johannasilva.com and go ahead and book a free audit into the site, and I'll be happy to review those free audits. And also, I'm giving away a free book on the website too, silvasalescoach.com. You can grab your free book there as well, and be happy to help any way I can.
Beautiful. So remember, especially to get a little bit of those little golden nuggets, reach out to Johanna and
yes, and Instagram, Coach with Silva, and again, Instagram handle, you can go to Coach WSILVA. So Coach and the word W and Silva, SILVA.
Perfect. Well, for all those, thank you for listening today, and hope that if you are considering the world of entrepreneurship, yes, there's hills and valleys, but so is everything else in life.
Everything.
It's all about just keeping going forward. Consistency is what's the key
Right.
is to keep on, to keep moving. No matter where you are on that hill or that journey, you know what?
Yeah.
Remember, the one important thing is reach out and ask for help, because listen, that's what it's all about. We're all in this
Absolutely.
world to help and be there for one another.
Absolutely. That's why we're here.
Thank
Thank
you
you so
very much
much.
for listening. Thanks, Joanna. We
Thank
look
you.
forward
Thank
to
you.
another time.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.